Hello, learners. Have you ever thought about how to always make the best choice? Imagine if you knew exactly when to start something, who to listen to, and what the most important thing to do is. Well, today we're going to hear an inspiring story about a king who wanted to find the answers to these exact questions. Let's dive in and see the summary of the story, Three Questions by Leo Tolstoy. Once upon a time, there was a wise and powerful king who wanted to make sure he never failed. He believed that if he could find answers to three important questions, he would always succeed. The three questions were: Question 1, what is the right time to start something? Question 2, which people should I listen to? Question 3, what is the most important thing to do? The king sent messengers across his kingdom, promising a grand reward to anyone who could answer his questions. Many wise people came to the king, but their answers were so different that the king became confused. He couldn't find the truth. So the king decided to seek help from a wise hermit who lived deep in the forest. The hermit was known for his wisdom, but he only spoke to simple people. Determined to get his answers, the king dressed in plain clothes and went to the forest all alone. When the king arrived at the hermit's small hut, he found the hermit digging the ground. The king greeted him and said, I have come to ask you three important questions. But the hermit didn't reply. He just kept digging. The hermit looked old and tired, so the king thought to help him. The king picked up the spade and started digging the ground. Hours passed, and the king worked until the sun began to set. Tired but determined, the king asked the hermit his questions again. Just then, a man came running toward them, holding his stomach, which was bleeding badly. The man collapsed in front of the king and the hermit. Without thinking twice, the king cleaned the wound and bandaged it with the hermit's help. Together, they carried the injured man into the hut and laid him on the bed. The next morning, the injured man admitted that he had planned to kill the king. He wanted revenge because the king had killed his brother and taken his property. But when the king didn't return from the hermit's hut, the man came out of hiding and was wounded by the king's guards. The man regretted his thoughts of killing the king and promised to be his faithful servant. The king forgave him and returned all his property. The most important time was when the king cared for the wounded man. Without help, the man would have died from his injuries. The wounded man was the most important person at that moment. Helping him was the most important thing to do. Before leaving, the king again asked the hermit to answer his questions. The hermit replied, the most important time is now, because it is the only moment you can act. The most important person is the one you are with, because the future is uncertain. The most important thing to do is to help others, because that is why we are here. The king finally understood the wisdom behind these answers. He returned to his kingdom as a kinder, wiser ruler, ready to live in the present, care for his people, and do good for others. So, students, be kind to those around you. Always do your best and help others whenever you can. You never know what impact your actions might have on others. We hope that you have understood the topic. You can now study chapter notes, watch video lectures, and solve MCQ tests of this chapter on EduRev to ensure you score well in your school exams. And that's not all. You also get amazing courses for math, science, English, Hindi, and much more for class 7. Thank you.